Yeah, do you guys have that thing in the back of your head that tells you, like, this has to work out, like there's no other options? I wake up, that's all I think about. All I think about is, like, dumb stuff. Yeah. And then, like, something has to work out because I can't just go back to Tennessee and cut trees or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. I have to be a comedian. I have to.
I'll tell you what. My dad and his wife are retiring in the next few years back to Ohio. They're building, like, a custom house on a plot of land in Norwalk. And there is nothing more motivating to get me to a, like, independent, successful place in LA than my father moving back to Ohio. Because, like, if I had to move back home with him in San Diego, like, I wouldn't like that, but I could still, like, perform, do comedy. I'm in California, I'll live. If I have to move to fucking Norwalk, Ohio, because I'm not funny enough to live here, I'm not going to make it to Ohio. I'm going to make it to the train tracks and lie down and take a nap and never wake up. Oh my God. You know, and that's not to shit on Ohio. It's beautiful and I love to visit.
But you don't want to live there and not do stand up.
Yeah.
No, the people. To be fair, Ohio doesn't want me there. When I visit Ohio, people look at me like you're not supposed to be here, and I look at them and go, I agree with you. Yeah. You know, I'm here for a week. You can live with me. And then when I leave, I bet they throw the biggest party they've ever seen. You know?
Yeah.
So moving back home, that's a big driver for you?
It really is. Because I'll tell you what.
The fear of that? I think home, that resonates with a lot of people. Like the fear of, like, I don't know. We grew up in a small town. I've never been to San Diego. Is it small there?
It's kind of like LA where, like, you're in San Diego, but, like, there's different neighborhoods and stuff. I was in suburbia. Mm-hmm. So, like, it was a suburb. Yeah. But my graduating high school class, I was over 1,000. You know? It was
seriously?
Yeah, I went to a pretty big high school.
Dang.
It was like
1,000 people?
800 to how big was your graduating class?
It was like 600.
Yeah, something like that. 500.
And that was big. That was like a lot of folks.
Yeah, we were somewhere between 800 and 1,000.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, Tennessee, where we grew up, was probably what you imagine Ohio is. It's probably just imagine that same thing. A lot of lakes. It was beautiful there. Oh, I bet. But yeah, like a huge...
very green, no fires.
Yeah. No homeless.
Yeah.
A huge driving point is, growing up in a small town, and after high school, you know, a lot of people went away and then failed or stayed and failed. Mm-hmm. And then it was fun for a little bit because you were 20, 21 out of high school, but then you were 22, 23, and you're like, this isn't fun anymore. Yeah. And I noticed that so quickly because I took a huge L very early in my life.
Yeah.
Yes. I went right out of high school. I moved to Chattanooga with, like, almost all my friends to go to community college, and I just dropped out in a year. Just did drugs, got arrested like 4 times or whatever, and
got robbed by 2 chicks.
Come on, dude. And I just took, like, a huge L right off the bat. And immediately I was like, oh, this can't be it. Yeah. And, like, turned my shit around and started doing, like, a lot of new shit. And stand-up was one of them. Mm-hmm. And, the fear of being there. And all my buddies are still there. And some of which still live with their parents. Or, like, even if they have their own place, they just go to bars and just do nothing. And the fear of that's what drives me. Yeah. And some revenge.
Yeah.
Some.
A huge driving factor for me was when I was in high school, there was an improv team that I never got on because it was based on popularity and not talent. And when I had to be a freshman in college, my best friend from high school, I was down for the weekend or so, and he was like, hey, I've got buddies in the improv show where alumni come back. It's like the alumni show. They do it once a year. You want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I went and I saw it, and I knew every single alumni because I had gone to school with every single one of them. They were either seniors when I were freshmen, or I graduated with them. Mm-hmm. And watching some of those people who I remember as a freshman looking up to as so funny, so smart, so quick, they could go off and do something, to watch them still be in my high school auditorium in that blue and white baseball improv tee, doing the same setups, the same little games, with the same people and the same drama teacher. I was like, if this were 4 years ago, I'd think you're so cool. But
Yeah.
now that I'm here, like, living in, like, dude, I don't want to be you.
Yeah.
We took a trip. When we moved to Los Angeles, it was like the biggest moment of our lives, whatever. And then we were here for a year, and then we took a trip back home a year after. And we had, in our lives out here, we had accomplished so much. Started stand-up, we made friends, like we were in the club, you know, doing like spots and whatever, and
Oh, yeah.
it was just amazing. And then we went back home and nothing changed. Like nothing changed.
Yeah.
And so we went back, like, I was like hanging out with my friends, and I felt I didn't know them. I was like, I felt uncomfortable with my friends.
No.
And yeah, like you said, there was like a few of my friends who I looked up to, and like even their brothers and stuff who I looked up to, like they had like DUIs and stuff, and they were like just working for their dad. It's like, you know, like those conversations. What are you doing these days? Oh, well, you know, the girlfriend got pregnant, so I'm just with my dad, working with him. And, you know, just kind of just at my parents, you know, but I'm chilling. I'm just kind of chilling, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just really chilling right now.
I got a kid announcement via text like a few weeks ago. It's just
Oh, God.
it's just weird. It's not like you think you're gonna go back and you're like, oh, dude, we're gonna kick it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. And like it's still cool, at least with like, you know, the guys that I'm friends with back home. But it's like it's different knowing that like, hey, in a few days I'm gonna fly back out to Los Angeles and like start my life again here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Start the machine churning again. It's different.
And it's crazy, even the people who, like, I went to school with, who stayed in San Diego, got a full education, graduated, and have, like, a real career, even they haven't grown as much as people who have left San Diego. One of literally the only person from high school I still talk to, a very dear friend of mine, he went to Point Loma, and he got a nursing degree. He's a nurse down in San Diego. We still text and stuff every now and then, but, you know, he still has a lot of traits from high school that, you know, I thought he would have grown out of, just because he was a very stubborn person. And I love him to death, and he's a very dear friend of mine. But, like, since leaving high school, like, I got an autism diagnosis. I came out as a lesbian. I do stand-up. I got a BFA in performing arts. You know, I've done so much, and I don't think I'm anything like who I was in high school. I look back at high school, I'm like, who the fuck is that bitch?
I do the same thing. I'm
I
like,
don't-
well,
and I
who
don't
was
wanna
that?
Talk to you, like, stay over there, like,
Yeah.
whoever you are, sit in your corner, like, don't come up to me, I'll donkey kick you. You know, I've grown so much, and it's just, you know, it's one of those where I never want to shit on your hometown, because some people just can't leave. Some people
That's
don't
true.
have the privilege and benefit of being able to leave, and you got to be able to acknowledge that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, if you can, even if it's for a year, even if it's just like an hour out, or like or 2 hours out.
Yeah, get out though. You know,
Yeah.
get out of there.
Because, like, let's be real. I'm maybe 2 hours away from where I grew up and went to high school. My high school's like an hour and a half away on a good night if I drive down there. But still, it's such a different culture.
It's worlds away.
LA may as well be a different planet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From San Diego, man. It's so wild out here.
People don't realize how different people think San Diego's like Diet LA. No, it's its own animal. It's wild. It has its own culture that's really, like, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the fear drives me a lot.